Hi, I'm Dr. James, and welcome to Love and Life Elevated. Hello, Deborah.
Hello. Thanks for being here with me today.
We are so excited. We were talking about this topic this morning, and this is a topic that every single one of us has a deep relationship to, but oftentimes it becomes sort of this enigma. We don't quite understand how it works or how we can make it better, and that's energy.
Right, and particularly energy as currency, and how it works a lot like when you think of money in the economy. It's like energy in the body, and you need to make regular deposits in order for interest or energy to accumulate and build. It like works so similarly.
Okay, that's genius.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think all of us, let's think of a time you've walked into a room or you're with a certain person and you have this going, well, you know what? They've just got really good energy. And this phenomenon, you feel it, you know it, and you also know when it's not good energy, right? And you feel and know those things too. So we have a lot to say about how we accumulate, how we invest, how we actually create this currency. So today we're going to talk a lot about what it is that we can be doing. What are some practical things we can do to not only build good energy, but to sustain it and to continually nurture it? Because the data is getting more and more out in the world around how it is that the mitochondria, which we'll get in here in a second, plays such a role, not in just our physical energy, but more and more we're seeing how metabolic energy and metabolic health plays a significant role in our emotional and psychological well-being as well.
I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking immediately when you were talking about like the physical aspect, I was thinking of like the mental and spiritual aspect of energy, and that I was also feeling when you're talking about when you meet someone and you walk away and you're like, oh my gosh, that person had great energy, or like, ooh, that was weird and that person did not have good energy. Or I'm thinking of particular meetings, or like especially board meetings that you sort of dread going into because you know there's these like opposing forces and the air is going to be thick and the energy is just going to be really intense all around you because there's that intensity and it's just real. Like it's invisible, but it's tangible.
Yeah, so with that said, let's talk a little bit about living inside out versus outside in, because last week we spoke a lot about locus of control based on, what it is that you put your energy to that you have infinite control over versus getting caught up in all the things that you do not have control over and how much that dissipates our energy. So let's talk a little bit. And before we go in there, Deb and I were talking this morning that we were both in medical school together. We had a particular physiology class with a particular teacher, Dr. Anna McIntosh, and we weren't the best test takers. I'm just going to go ahead and say we weren't the best takers. But, we really loved the idea of this whole thing around mitochondria and really understanding the tangible elements of what it does for physiology and what it does for our entire well-being. But remember some of the things that we learned about, we were kind of going, wow, that's really cool. And here we are 30 plus years later going, oh my gosh, it continually comes up and really is now seeing how the health of our mitochondria plays a role in every aspect of our well-being.
Yeah, totally. I can like picture the Guyton physiology book and with the pictures of the cell and then learning about ATP, and ATP really being the currency and the energy producing aspect of mitochondria. And there's a lot of ways to, well, actually, it's so important to nurture the mitochondria, and we're going to talk about those ways. But it's in nurturing the mitochondria that then you become that good energy person, because when you're feeling energized and hopeful, you actually outpicture that to the world. And that's kind of what brings good energy. Not to say that people who don't have, say, physical energy can't be total jerks and have bad energy, but it's less likely, right? The people who are taking care of themselves and doing these practices that we're going to talk about and really nurturing their energy, that's when we tend to put forth more positivity, light, love, good energy into the world.
So true. And I think what's really helpful for all of us to begin with, the mitochondria, the source of energy, the powerhouse within the cell, literally is like every other part of your being. When you put good food in your body, lean proteins, lots of vegetables, the things that are clean and rich and nutrient dense, your mitochondria responds in kind. It's not something you're going, I can understand the algorithm here. If I eat junk food, I don't know why I don't feel so good. Well, your mitochondria is literally depending on you making healthy choices all day long. So the food you put in, let's just laying that down from the very beginning. We know that sugar literally crushes your mitochondria. You think it's going to give you energy because it's sugar, and that was at one time what we thought, or we thought a little bit there could actually be beneficial to giving us energy. We know it's short-lived and actually creates a metabolic disaster ultimately. So really think about what you can do, especially this time of the year as you're moving into the holiday season. We're going to have a lot of temptation. And we're having a lot more stress, and we're carrying a lot more things, which can be hard on our energy. So I think most importantly, I was reading an interesting study about how breakfast, building the foundation to have a good source of protein to begin your day with, slow burning carbohydrates, and really giving yourself permission to think of your mitochondria as that first meal of the day, saying, this is how I'm going to build the entire day. Let's do what we can do to help my mitochondria to thrive.
Yeah, that's perfect. And then I would add, the practices like a breathing practice and taking a break, because when you have that practice in place ahead of time, when you get into a situation that may challenge your energy, your mood, your vibration, that you have your breath to fall back on is really important. And so with that is periods of rest and making sure you have trained your body for periods of rest, because that also nurtures the mitochondria. So meditation, you love napping. I'm not a great napper.
Love napping.
This is why you have such good energy. But getting outdoors during the day, if you can, like all of these things that are less tangible per se than say what you are eating in the morning or how we're moving our physical bodies, that's so important too.
It is. And I think for a lot of us right now, you're giving yourself an opportunity to kind of lay down a foundation every single day, where I like to look at protocols. And there's a part of me that really looks at this every single day where you don't know what's going to come at you, right? There's things unexpected. There's relationships that may not work the way you hope. A certain bit of news comes in, something you heard about a family member. All of that stuff is unpredictable. And I think what really has helped me tremendously, and this is something, sweetheart, I totally appreciate that you are so diligent about, is that I like to say that emotional resilience is part of how it is our mitochondria responds, meaning that emotionally you have to decide that you are going to lay down a foundation of an unflappable relationship with your self-care. And I like to say an algorithm. Literally, you have a protocol, an algorithm where you do this one thing every single day. So your highs are higher and your lows are also higher. Why? Because you've literally laid this foundation. And because your mitochondria really is controlling every part of your physiological and neurochemical and emotional well-being, when you can establish things first part of the morning, you do get a chance to go into the rest of the day under the influence of confidence, knowing when something comes at you. And interesting enough, there was a really cool thing I read a couple weeks ago about how when challenges come towards us, we're kind of saying, oh, it's going to be a tough day and this can be a hard relationship, a hard conversation. That's life. But when you have mitochondria that's really working for you, you have this kind of unique way in which you kind of move towards the challenge versus going, oh my gosh, I want to avoid it. I don't want to do this thing. I'm trying to do all I can to procrastinate. What mitochondria wants to do at an emotional level is not only see the challenge, not deny it, and then actually move towards it to solve the challenge, which is basically not turning away from it, absolutely dealing with what's coming at you. And that empowers our mitochondria.
Yeah, I was just thinking of like things that feed your mitochondria, feed your energy even further. And again, like going back to that currency analogy and what makes additional deposits into that energy bank? And it's kind of what you put your energy into. So think of like your favorite hobbies, your interests, your friends. Like it takes an effort to invest your time and your energy into those things. So for me, for example, I've always loved it, but I'm finally actually participating in ceramics and pottery. I'm not good at it. And sometimes I'm tired. It takes place in the evening, late afternoon. We're early risers. We go all day. So it's an effort for me to then get to class. And then once I do, it's completely feeding my energy. Same thing with like tennis. I love tennis, but it's an effort because of where we live and because we're not an outdoor 4-season environment to get to a place that is, say, an indoor tennis center, to find the friends that I can play with that are available at the same time. It takes a big effort, but the reward is that my energy is like full. It fills my tank. It fills my bank account, my energy bank.
Yeah, and interesting enough, kind of a contrary to that is how much toxic energy.
Totally.
And there's a lot of data that supports the fact that when we are doom scrolling, just kind of going through Instagram or Facebook, and we're just kind of mindlessly allowing whatever we're seeing to get in. And that is something that I think every single one of us knows a relationship to. You got to be incredibly mindful. You got to be incredibly discerning. And you also have to be courageous and say, this isn't working for me. And what we know is that when we're doom scrolling or just mindlessly going into social media, when stuff comes up that's toxic, it does impact our energy. It does impact our physiology and literally gets into our mitochondria. And that toxic emotion robs our ATP and its ability to actually convert into positive energy. It literally zaps and steals our energy. So it's one of the reasons why we love doing this podcast every week. It's why I love doing the Treehouse, because I feel more and more like one of the things I love to do, and it gives me good energy, is to put something out there that hopefully elevates and encourages people. And I don't want to be a part of the doom scrolling, and the divisiveness that's out there right now is really tough on our energy.
Well, and one thing that you have always been so good at, and it actually just crystallized for me, is Dr. James is someone who absolutely will not watch any movie that's like violent, mental, like mean, mostly the violent part, but even those like psychological thrillers, any of the gangster crime, any of that, you don't even allow that to enter your field. And I really get it, because you have really learned how to manage your energy around that. And I noticed with social media, because I get it, like, when's the last time social media put you in a good mood? Well, what we love to do is share funny animal videos. We've already talked about how much we love rescue donkeys. You all know we have a pug puppy, so you can imagine we are targeted for every cute pug puppy and rescue donkey video. And honestly, that brings me joy. And if we can keep it to that versus like you said, the doom scrolling, the world is coming to an end, he said, she said, they're terrible, they're worse, that doesn't feed our soul. But if you can just like scroll till you get to the cute animal video, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, in fact, we know that when you stop on a great meme of a rescue donkey or a memory that you've had with someone you love, and you literally allow yourself to marinate in it, even taking as little as 5-10 seconds to really take it in, your mitochondria returns and responds and says, this is rejuvenating, this is resuscitating, this is bringing me back to life. So we have a lot to say about how we curate our environments, how we curate our mitochondria, and how well it responds. And I think one of the most beautiful acts of love you can do is really get clear about what it is, the people you love, the media that you love, the environments you love. And to the degree that you can control those things, give yourself permission to really go all in and fully curate to the degree that gives you that sense of help, where you go, this is me decorating my life with ways that makes me feel loving, makes me feel hopeful, energized, and possible.
Absolutely, because then the more you deposit the love, the energy into your emotional bank account, then the more you can withdraw that when you need it. It's there because you've saved it. And interest has accumulated. So the availability for greater energy, greater love, greater joy is there for you to share and spread around.
That is so true. And there's something called self-determination theory, which is when, like today, you've watched this show, you're going, the mitochondria is interesting. I get a chance to curate and decorate my environment in a way it's going to help me with my mitochondria. So now that you know this, and then you methodically go about planning your day, planning your people, planning your media, that's called self-determination theory. And that begins to really beget a whole sort of uprising and what it is that you sort of notice yourself doing, building self-esteem, building self-confidence, giving yourself this sort of added protection to create for yourself what it is you ideally want to be experiencing. I think we give too much credit to the environment and what it's going to do to us versus what it is that we want to influence with our own choice and how we want to impact our environment. And I don't think there's anyone in this community who wouldn't say, man, I really do want to bring more good into the world. So if I do this work inside, clean eating, doing meditation, using resistance training, because muscle and mitochondria go hand in hand, and 3 supplements that you can consider.
Good. I was just going to ask you to bring that in because we were talking about all this, like lifestyle and stuff, but if you want to rattle off some supplements, I'm sure everyone would love.
Yeah, and 3 that I depend on every single day. I love these. Acetyl L-carnitine, somewhere between 1,000 to 1,500 milligrams a day. Something called alpha lipoic acid as well, 400 to 600 milligrams a day, and coenzyme Q10, 100 to 200 milligrams. Those 3 supplements have phenomenal benefit of really nourishing at a deep level the health and vitality of your mitochondria, and in turn really helping your ATP to manufacture and really help you vibrate at a higher level, not just in terms of good energy, but resilience when the environment you're around or stuff that's going through in your life helps you to really, really stay strong.
Yeah, I would add to that things that I love: green tea, just drinking green tea, or you can find that in supplement form, and then PQQ, which is
love that one.
Yeah, so 20 to 30 milligrams of PQQ combined with CoQ10 also really helps nurture the mitochondria.
So what's the take home here in terms of energy?
The take home is like the more love, energy you can deposit and preserve into your own energy bank account, getting fresh air, taking deep breaths throughout the day, eating clean foods, the more you're able to bring the positive energy that you want to see in the world, the room that you want to walk into, that you want to feel, the vibe, the level you want to live at, you're going to get what you give and give what you get. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. And I love it because I often say to my patients and say to people I'm coaching that your self-care is your social activism. And this is could not be more true, right? We need more good energy on the planet. Mm-hmm. We need more good energy circulating in all the ways in which we go out in the world. And that is social activism, because good energy is contagious, and it's our responsibility to choose to actually nourish and nurture what it is that we want to be bringing out in the world. And man alive, I think this is an awesome call for all of us to discern what it is that we want to be doing, and then giving ourselves permission to step in and do the work.
Yep. So spread some joy, spread some kindness, share some love, and just be that good energy that you want to see and be in the world.
Absolutely. So thank you for making time for us. Thank you for putting your energy into this exchange, this transmission, and let us really lean into something that I believe every single one of us knows there's an opportunity for transformation here, and then do the work that helps us to feel possible in this experience. So we'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you for your energy, honey. I love you so much.
Thank you.
And we love you. We'll see you next Wednesday. Peace and blessings.
Bye.
Bye for now.